We are the Nerd Eternal Network.
Hello! Welcome to Nerd Eternal. Today we are starting part 3 of our Anthology season with Icons the Primes. We're going to start this one off a little differently. We're just going to sort of jump into the action and then flash back and introduce you to individual characters and how they wound up on this team. I'll be your GM for the day, Jason. And with me as usual is Zach.
Howdy, howdy.
We'll go ahead and say your character's name is Helio since it's on the overlay anyway. Mike playing Transmuter.
Hey.
Curtis playing Sethagwa, is that right?
Sethagwa, yeah.
And Taylor is Puppet.
Hold up.
Howdy.
Alright. So like I said, we're just going to start off in the middle of the action. So let me get y'all down here to the action map. And throw it up on the screen where everybody else can see it. Alright, so all of you are over here on the left side. I believe you should be able to identify your tokens. Please slide them around just a little bit, make sure you've got control of them.
Got it.
Oh, okay.
I see a big bad in the center.
Oh, he's not that big.
I see several very familiar faces.
You may have encountered some of these people before in previous seasons. Alright, so the team has just been dropped off. There was a major disturbance downtown. As you arrive, you see this individual with the spiky hair. He is maybe 30 meters tall when you see him. Now, Helios, I believe, had already been doing a little bit of superheroing.
Yes, sir.
And Transmuter, I know, has had some training.
Intensive training, but no experience.
Right. So both of you give me intelligence checks.
Oh, it's gonna be that kind of day.
Can't quite get that out of the screen. Okay. Alright, so the difficulty you needed to beat was 7. Okay, so Mike, as y'all are flying in, y'all are in a vehicle, as y'all flew in and got dropped off here via vehicle, you recognize the big guy. This is a villain known as Skyscraper.
Oh, I was wondering if that was going to be him.
I figured it had to be.
You know, he's made the news plenty of times. Most recently, he was part of a government experimental project. Not like lab experiments, like the government trying to use supervillains as special agents. The team they put together fought the Vasilev, alien invader guy. It didn't go well for him, but so you managed to recognize him at least. This building up here has already sustained some damage.
I'm sorry, can you highlight that again? I think my character was covered. Oh, okay, that one.
Yeah, kind of opposite catty corner from y'all. There are also several individuals in the air. Transmuter, you're pretty sure this is the rest of that team.
Now, when you say in the air, are they fly? Does it look like they're flying of their own volition, or are they being like levitated or what?
This guy is flying. Basically, you see 4 guys in like old-style aviator jackets.
Okay.
They're all flying. You have an alien-looking individual here who is flying, and that car is right above him. He is hoisting that over his head. It's a police car. There appear to still be a couple of officers in it. So if all of you would give me initiative rolls right quick, which is, of course, your coordination.
Yeah. On a coordination of 1, I am not the slowest.
Really wish this thing would identify who I'm rolling as when I roll off their character sheet. Alright, so Helios, you got a 5.
Yes, sir.
Did I not put you on? Oh, there you are. Alright, so Helios got a 5. Puppet got a 7. Setawagia, I will get it eventually, but it's going to take me a little while.
Sacagawea.
Got an 8.
You can always just call him Seth if you want. I mean,
Yeah, but then I'll never get used to the name. Alright, and that was... First one up was Gothic. Got an 8. No, that's not Gothic. That was Skyscraper that got an 8. Gothic got an 11. Transmuter. I have not given a turn to. Alright, Transmuter got a 6. Viltro Aquani got a 5. And Squadron got an 8.
Was that second to last name the alien you mentioned?
Yes.
Would you mind repeating that name too, just for the record?
Viltro Aquani.
Viltro Aquani. I can get the spelling later. Thank you.
And I put the name in the chat under the last dice roll.
Thank you.
Yes, he was a space pirate that attacked the city of Manford back in the first season.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, and he popped up in the second season as part of the government team.
He was also in a coma for a while.
Yes, he was. Apparently, he's woke up.
Oh, joy. So glad he's made a full recovery.
Look, man, he got put in that coma defending your planet. Show a little respect.
You know, this is the second arc in a row we've had a space pirate in it.
I mean, technically, all arcs have had a space pirate. Viltro's been here since season 1.
Okay.
Well, not every story has had him, though. Just every season.
No.
Alright, so top of the order is Gothic. So y'all hop out of the somewhat plain-looking vehicle.
is it a sedan?
It is not, but the woman piloting it does refer to it as the sedan. Or the van. Or, there's usually some kind of real-world vehicle name she calls it. But anyway, so y'all are landing. You hear a woman call out, "We've got capes!"
Oh. Do
She
any of
is-
actually work?
I do.
Okay.
It's
And
like,
and
oh,
Sith,
no, man, I ain't wearing no cape.
this is a cloak, darn it. But she comes up from behind this police car, kind of like she's using it for cover. If you've ever seen a monitor with the brightness turned kind of down low, that's what she looks like. She's standing out in broad sunlight, but it's like she's dimmer than everything else around her. Helios, you see her raise her hand, and suddenly there's like a blade of darkness in her hand, and she flicks it at you.
I don't like that. I'm gonna try and juke out of the way.
Okay. The number you need to beat is a 14.
And this is coordination, correct?
Correct.
Oh no!
Oh man, it's going to be kind of embarrassing if you go down in the first round. Alright, so... Alright, so you got a 5. So beat you by 9, so that's a massive success. Her energy control does 6 points of damage to you.
And I have 6 points of damage resistance.
Okay. So that does 0 damage. Let's see, but the massive success with her dagger. Give me a strength roll.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Oh.
no. Poop. I grabbed 3 of my icons books and none of them were there's the main rule book. Alright. So you got a 13.
Yes, sir.
Test the full damage level against the target strength. Alright, so she rolling a d6 plus a dice. Or rolling a6 plus a dice, I should say. Alright, so she got an 11. So you beat her. Okay, so you take no damage. There might be a little slice in your suit where it may have punched through the suit.
I just dust off where it hit. Frown at her.
Alright, so then she calls out, "Baby, the one in white's probably yours." Alright, and then next up is Squadron. The blue one here dives for Helios. He is going to do a rush attack, so he's just doing the 2-fist Superman fly into you. Or trying to, anyway. Lifting, running, jumping, swimming, standing, blocking, grabbing, rushing. Here we are. Alright, so it is a prowess test against your coordination or prowess, whichever one you want to use.
I will use. They're both the same, so I'll use my.
Okay. He got a 12.
And I got a 1 or a 5.
Alright, so he beat you by 7. Which means he hits you. He does the better of his strength plus 1 or his his movement power +1. His strength is a 7, but his flight is an 8. So he does 9 points of damage to you.
I'll take 3 of that.
Mm-hmm. There is a chance for him to stun you. So give me a strength roll versus the damage he did. So you need to beat a 15.
Ooh, that is not good for me.
Alright, so the 9 was what you rolled?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so he beat you by 6. Which is a massive... Which I think leaves you stunned for... Is it the scene? A major or massive reduces the target's stamina to 0 and renders the character unconscious. It's a little more vicious than I thought stun was. Alright, so y'all see him just dive bombs. You know, you see Helios take the dagger, nothing. And then you see this guy in the old style aviator jacket turn himself into a human missile and just plow into him. Just down into the cement, and then Squadron comes floating back up. The next squadron goes after Puppet.
Oh, fun.
He got a 10.
Got an 8.
Alright, so he hits you. Now he was not doing a rush. He just flew down and slugged you. So he does 7 points of damage to you.
Alright, I'll drop to the floor.
Okay. Next up is, let's see, you got a couple of squadrons back here. This one flies down, takes a swing at Seth. Got a 7 on the die, so Curtis, you need to beat a 7.
So this is going to be a prowess roll, right?
Correct. Alright, you easily evade it. Cape flailing out behind you. Excuse me, cloak flailing out behind you. And then this last one is going to go after Transmuter. Got an 11.
All right. So now, here's where here comes the first ruling of the day.
Okay.
I took a power defense knack, which lets me substitute a power for dodging reactions. Now it says, does that mean I can only do that if I'm dodging as opposed to? Because there's a difference, right, between dodging and evading, like whether it's a prowess attack or a coordination attack. Is that correct?
Right. I believe dodging is the... Let me look it up before I misquote, but I believe dodging is the coordination one.
And if it's dodging like lowercase d, does that mean it's all like I don't know if it's
Yeah, you dodge attacks with coordination. If it's a prowess based thing, then you are evading.
okay.
So if you use the power to replace your dodging, then that's you're blocking incoming blasts, incoming bullets, incoming thrown objects. Not somebody just running up taking a swing at you.
Okay. In that case, I will not. Okay. that case, let me roll my paralysis. Let me add an evade or this is a yeah. Let me add an evade roll.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. Uh-oh.
Alright, you take 7 points of damage.
Okay.
And that is all the squadrons. Then it is Skyscraper's go. He had started stomping over towards Helios. And then he notices, oh, okay, Squadron's handling that. And then he turns around and he sees that Squadrons basically own everybody.
I would like to formally apologize to the group for making him season 2.
Oh, come on, Mal's a great guy.
Mistakes were
So yeah, he just sort of huffs. And then walks back over kind of towards this building. It's like, and you can tell now that the damage the building's taking is on about his level, so it's like maybe he was tearing into the building, like when the police arrived. But he walks back over there and starts digging back into the building.
Wow.
And then
Sethagua.
Sethagua.
And the way he tried to say it the first time was probably right, but this guy's a dumb oaky redneck. He's not going to say it right. He's going to say it just like it's.
Sethagua.
Yeah, it should. Sethagua.
All right, so Sethagua, go.
He is going to go after the darkness chick. What was her name again? I forgot.
Gothic.
Gothic, that's right. He doesn't know her name, but as a player, I should have remembered her from season 2.
He just sees her. She's a hot goth chick.
Yeah.
That is clearly doing something to the light around her.
Right. It's like, he'll laugh. It's like, ha, hey, Chicky D, I see you like to dance with darkness. And you and I have not talked about this, but as a cosmetic effect, I always envisioned him being able to move and shape shadows with no effect, just being creepy.
Yeah, he can just make the shadows on the ground do stuff or
Right,
okay.
right.
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
And so I think, like she's standing, you said in daylight. I want to move the shadows of one of the buildings so that it shifts and menacingly covers her. And most shadow-based characters are very reserved and mysterious. Not Seth. Sethagua suffers from an excessive personality. He's gonna start dancing and hopping around and hooting and hollering, and he is going to switch to shadow form, which takes a page.
Okay. So he's hooting and hollering as his body transforms into pure shadow.
Right. He'll be like, "Come on, Reg, we're gonna get her," because that's his little creepy puppet that he keeps with him.
I thought Puppet was the creepy puppet you kept with you.
I thought Puppet was supposed to be the creepy puppet.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So yeah, she looks around when that shadow swings over.
At this point, Reg looks like a little chihuahua with giant, upright, pointed ears.
Who could he be based on?
He actually doesn't normally look like that, but Seth is trying to be a hero, so he's making Reg look cute.
Gotcha. We'll have to get a token for Reginald at some point.
Do what?
I said we'll have to get a token for Reginald at some point. All right. So yeah, she's looking around at the shadow. Huh. She doesn't seem to be particularly, especially disturbed by it. Puppet, your go.
Alright. So, this is another ruling, because we haven't spoken about it.
Mm-hmm.
Immortality at my stage lets you pick up at the next page, which would be all of the actions in panels. Does that mean on my turn within it, I stand up? Or do I have to wait until the beginning of the next pages, like rotation of characters, before I stand up?
Your power would kick in the next turn. So you'd be down for one turn. Well, no, because if you'd already gone, but they took you down, you'd still get up just as soon as your next turn came up. Yeah, we'll say since you didn't already have your turn, we'll say you get up this turn.
All right. I will stand up and begin walking towards Helios.
So you're just ignoring the guy that's still standing there.
Yep, dude punches me. I fall down. I get up, grab the empty cup of coffee I had, and start walking towards Helios to go heal him.
Well, the one that knocked you down was already sitting there just kind of staring at you like, was he already dead when I punched him? Because Puppet does not look healthy at all.
Nope. And Puppet will, say out in the open after he gets up. So what are all of you doing here, and what will it take for you to go away?
And then it is Transmuter's turn.
Alright, so I see, yeah, squat. How does the building look really unstable at this point?
Not really. It's like he's tearing into one floor. Or actually, at this point, it's more like he's rooting around in one particular office.
Can I kind of like just take the air around, or the I guess the oxygen between him and the building, and just try to transform it into like a, I don't know, just transform into like just a metal barrier, just to keep him away from the building.
Sure. Give me a roll, or hang on, let me look up transmutation.
Well, actually, at least the way the rules for transmutation are written, I don't actually roll for the.
That's right. It's based on.
Just happens. The rank really just determines like how much I can affect at one time, and I took a building's worth.
Okay.
Because I wanted to make.
So yeah, he's rooting around. He pulls something out, and as he pulls it out, the space is clear.
On a widescreen basis.
Yeah. So he pulled a desk guy, looked at it, he dropped it, and as he turns to go back in, you basically turn all that air in that corner office into stone. Do what now? Are you still with us, Mike?
Did we lose him?
Oh no.
Alright, we'll jump back to Mike when he gets back then. Next up would be Viltro Equani. Like I said, as y'all flew in, he had a cop car picked up over his head. Look, it still had a couple of officers in it. Let's see. Seth is probably doing one of the more unnerving looking things.
I am back. Or at least
That's a
excellent.
good way to describe him.
Sorry.
Not a problem. We all have tech problems from time to time. Sending you a Zoom invite.
Thank you.
All right. So as I was saying, he skyscraper pulls something out of the office. A desk out of the office, looks at it, drops it, and when he turns back, you are basically turning all the air in that corner office into like a chunk of steel, I guess.
Yeah.
You just hear his deep voice going, kind of going, "What the?" And he's looking around like he's trying to see who's responsible. Now, when you use your abilities like that, are you making like hand gestures? Are you pointing in that direction? Is there visible energy going between you and whatever you're affecting?
I think she just might. I think she would just like simply hold up a hand. There might be some. Actually, let's say her eyes glow when she uses her power.
Okay.
Kind of maybe like a vestigial thing of like whatever the Primus's, I don't know, primal vision was for the material that's being transmuted. But I think that's what the visual effect is.
So he says that the squadron in front of you turns, and he sees the metal, and he just listed, "You make the metal? That's your power? Are you the metallurgist?"
I'll simply respond that the name's Transmuter.
He gets a very thoughtful look in his eye.
Oh, yeah. I gave away rookie mistake. I gave away character information.
Give me an awareness roll.
Sure.
You notice he is wearing his explosive collar. That was how the government kept the team under control. Was the team all had explosive collars, but he's the only person here that you see wearing one. I mean, every version of him is wearing one, but Gothic's not wearing one. Skyscraper's not wearing one. You don't see one on Viltro.
And you said that was Squadron that's still wearing the
Squadron has still got his own.
explosive color. Okay, gotcha.
Alright, then it was Viltro Quanti's turn. As I was telling the guys, he's got a police car hoisted up over his head. Still got two officers in it. For that matter, the one down here that Gothic is hiding behind, you see two officers slumped over in it. The one over here, the car is empty. And you've got one officer kind of looks like he laid out unconscious next to the car. And if he had a partner, you don't see him. But Viltro chunks his police car at Seth.
Just not nice.
This is going to be coordination. You need to beat a 9.
I did not.
Maybe
Alright.
you're the ones you already took.
Do what now?
Oh, I thought I was muted. I'm sorry. She was trying to
Uh-oh.
put a bunch of Cheez-Its in her mouth.
Alright, so he beat you by 2, so the card's going to hit you. But you spent your last turn turning into shadow. So what protection does your shadow form give you from physical attacks?
Technically, it does not, but I did use my extra points. I bought 4 damage resistance when I'm in shadow form.
Okay.
If he's human, you could just take him out like a bitch.
Alright. Let's see. Oh, I was confused for a second. I looked down there and Viltro's strength was like a 3. I'm like, that's not right. But I forgot. It's all tied into his 1 power.
That coma did a number on him.
Atrophy, man, atrophy. Okay, so you take 5 points of damage as he clips you with the car.
Is that after my damage resistance? Or...
No, that is before that.
Okay.
So the car hits and kind of skids over to one side. You see the officers get thrown around inside, and they're slumped over. You know, one of them slumped over the steering wheel. The other one's laid up against the door. They were very obviously conscious when he chunked it. They are unconscious now. Then we drop down to Helios, who is knocked out but could spend, could tap a quality to give themselves advantage and take a recovery if they wanted to.
I was actually about to ask if I could do that while unconscious. So yes, I'm going to tap, I'm the bulletproof one.
Okay. So give yourself either your strength or your willpower's worth of stamina.
Should I take the 4 or the 7?
Up to you.
But yeah, I'm popping right back up.
Alright. So then it takes your action to stand up, but you are now up. And you know, you still look banged up, so.
Everyone gets a free shot.
Oh, you're tougher than you. The squadron that was standing over you had actually turned and was looking at Transmuter. And then when you stand up and say that, he looks back at you. Oh, you're a little tougher than I thought. And that brings us back to the top of the order. So at this point, we flash back several months. Helios.
Yes, sir.
Since your father's demise, you have been out, or since your father's sacrifice, you have been going out and patrolling some, if I remember correctly.
Yes, sir.
Now, what town is Helios from?
I'm gonna say Rockford, Illinois.
Okay.
It's a decent-sized city, but it's not Chicago.
Gotcha. And just give us a quick rundown on Helios. What's his name?
Helios's real name is Dan Magan. He's a freelance programmer and freelance programmer and IT specialist, currently floating around between jobs. His parents met, as in the Primus and his mom Melissa, met whenever when she was on a trial separation from her husband. Wild fling ensued, pregnancy that she didn't know she had until after she got back together with her estranged husband. Cut to 5 years later, a divorce happened. They divorce whenever his dad realizes that he's not his dad. And Primus comes back into his life to help, be a father figure, take responsibility for him, and once his powers emerged, helped him master and control them. And Dan is not exactly thrilled by the fact that his powers seem to keep growing in ways that alarm him.
So Dan has been out patrolling, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he started patrolling after the Primus' sacrifice. That's when he decided to do this, for sure, to do the superhero thing.
Pretty much. There was always the undercurrent that Cliff, or the Primus, did not think he was ready to actually do the superhero.
So you have been off patrolling, and you've had some local, small local successes, but, you've definitely made the local news. Nothing so far that's made like national news. You come home from crime fighting one day. You're sneaking in the back window of your apartment, I assume.
Yep.
You slip in, lower the window, you turn around, and there is a woman standing in your apartment.
Lord.
There's the smell of fresh coffee. She's sitting there just sipping her mug, clearly having watched you climb through the window.
I can explain. The superhero routine is actually a cover for my actual job of breaking and entering into random people's apartments for shits and giggles.
She takes a big swig of her coffee. Sit down, Dan.
I pull out a chair, sit down.
She gets up, refills her coffee, looks at you. Would you like some?
Yeah, I would. I assume you know where the sugar and creamer is.
She's already got it sitting out next to the pot. She makes a couple walks over.
I had 3 scoops of sugar, a little splash of cream. So where'd I mess up?
Well, first off, never try to assure people that you're just breaking and entering and not actually a superhero.
Well, aside from that,
I can't really say you've made a mistake. I know who you were because, I have access to your father's files.
oh, that's what. Wait, he had a file on me? Of course he had a file on me. Why wouldn't he have a file on me? So
Well,
I'm guessing.
he didn't actually do most of the filing and paperwork type stuff. I was already doing that, but it might be. It was a file in his computer system. I suppose it was really more like I had a file on you. But
So you were Clifford's secretary?
you get a somewhat cold look. I was kind of the voice on the radio feeding him information and so forth. My name is Sharon.
Wish I could say it's a pleasure to meet you, Sharon.
It's an alarming situation. I understand. But we're family.
Excuse me?
Clifford, as you're calling, he was my grandfather.
You're my niece? I have a niece? He had a kid? That wasn't me. Okay.
Calm down.
Okay. Thanks, thanks, Cliff. Thanks for filling me in on that.
He married my grandmother back in the 40s. She passed away in the 90s.
I knew about that. Yeah. It was a beautiful woman, your grandma.
Oh, thank you. But and Sharon looks like she's probably about 50. I think that works out right. Yeah, something like that. An in shape, well kept 50, but so anyways, since I was a teenager, I've helped. I helped my grandfather. Feeding him information, that sort of thing, while he was out doing, his daring do. After my grandmother passed, she's clearly trying to think of a polite way to put this.
Had a small breakdown.
sort of, yes. I mean, it didn't affect, the job he was doing, but he wasn't usually kind of the heavy partier, Don Juan sort. But he kind of had a little spell of that after grandmother passed.
I mean, we all have our ways of coping with tragedy. Was just apparently picking up 20-something women in bars.
Some of them were 30-something, but your point is taken. To be fair, it's not like he was aging like a normal person.
Yeah.
But this is totally not the conversation I was here to have. Clearly, you've decided to take your father's, well, not his full mantle, but take up his work.
I mean, when you have the power to help, it's a bit of a moral obligation too.
Dan, I'm actually proud to hear you say that.
I got issues with Cliff, your grandpa, but he did teach me some pretty useful stuff.
Well, I'm not sure if he'd have ever brought it up, but he wasn't aware that your mother... He was under the assumption that your mother was divorced.
I mean, they explained it. Like, it's not something that really came up in conversation. They were both in pretty bad spots.
But I would like to help you help other people.
All right. I'm not exactly in the position to turn down the extra help.
Well, I'm not going to be the only person. At least I hope not. There are a few other recruits that we're going to make a team. Since none of you are particularly experienced yet, you're actually, I think, the most experienced person that I'll be speaking to.
Now, by a team, do I take it I'm not the only wild oat that was sown?
No.
That should be our team name.
Not the wild oats.
That's enough out of you, Curtis.
No, let him finish the thought.
that was my thought.
But yeah, she tells you no. Apparently, even when precautions were taken, they didn't necessarily work.
I don't want to think about the process of that, so yeah.
No, I do not.
So
you both share a moment of this disturbed thought of, you don't want to think about your dad like that. She doesn't want to think about her granddad like that.
I get up, grab a bottle of vodka out of the fridge, pour a little bit into the coffee, sit back down.
She looks at you for a second, but then she doesn't say anything. Well, I'm glad you were so quick to agree to this. Of course, you were already planning to do the hero thing, so... Which is why I came to you first. The next person...
I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
She was like, the next person we were going to visit, though, is your sister.
Wonderful. A sister. I always wanted a sister. And a brother.
And another brother. At least. I'm still researching. But yes, we'll be visiting your sister next. She hasn't debuted like you already have. But grandfather was training her some.
Oh, nice of him to not tell me.
It's not that... Look, he was very proud of you.
Uh-huh.
But he was also kind of old-fashioned and a little embarrassed by his own actions.
Yeah, I kind of got that.
So, I believe that's why he never told any of you about any of the rest of you. I should probably have pushed him a little harder to let some of you meet, but before he passed, I was a little resentful about it myself.
I think we both know that he was the kind of guy that once he made up his mind about something, you ain't changing it.
As a hero, you need a certain amount of flexibility, but you also need that certain amount of stubbornness. And nobody ever finds the perfect balance. But she stands up and then offers you her hand.
I finish my coffee, stand up, and give it a shake.
Alright. She tells you, welcome to the Primes. And all of that was basically flashing through your eyes as you were laying there in a crater in the cement and pavement. Then your eyes snap open, you climb up, and you tell Squadron that, everybody gets a free shot. And then we are at the top of round 2. Starting with Gothic.
Ooh, yeah.
She is going to round the corner and come running over this way towards Seth. As she runs over, she pops, she just kind of flicks her hands, and suddenly there's these, daggers of blackness in her hand that she then hurls at you, Seth. Let's see, coordination.
I see that's how she's going to play it.
She got a 14. All right. Let me take a quick gander at your sheet. Does Seth have any oddball weaknesses or anything?
Really?
No, okay.
Not that I can think of. He's not super formidable physically. I mean, but he's not.
But he's also not like, he's got shadow powers, but somebody's not going to walk up and just hit him in the face flash him in the face with a mag light and it do anything to him. I mean, nothing like that.
Right.
That's what I was looking that was the sort of thing I was looking for. Alright, so she's going to hit you with them daggers. That is 6 points of damage. Subtract your damage resistance, of course.
Right.
And then give me a strength roll.
Seth isn't doing so hot.
Alright, so he got a 9. He needed a 10. I don't think that does anything particularly bad, though. Let me check. Alright, so that was for a killing check. She only beat you by 1, so that's a moderate success. So you were rendered unconscious. Puppet, you hear Seth hit the ground behind you.
So if he's unconscious, I'm assuming he immediately turns back to human, and the shadows that were enveloping her from the building.
Does your shadow do those powers require concentration?
No.
So he might actually just stay in shadow form.
Although that was just an assumption I made.
Alternate form, shadow.
But certainly the cosmetic look of her being in the darkness would move back, I would think. Unless, of course, the shadows themselves decided to do whatever, because he doesn't. His powers kind of do their own thing if you want them to.
So yeah, you hit the ground, still in shadow form, so probably not too loud a thump. So Gothic stops her charge when she sees you drop and just starts laughing. Next up is Squadron.
Yeah, looks like it's the one right in front of me.
Well, he's right in front of a couple of people.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so it's just one. They act as one unit. Okay.
So the three on that side of the road all moving around Transmuter. And they're all making vaguely threatening motions, except for the kind of back one here, who's mostly got visually blocked from the rest of his team. Lady, he's looking at Transmuter. Lady, can you unmake stuff?
Unmake stuff. That's kind of. Well, I don't really make and unmake. I change. I change. I make. I change matter. Or I don't.
No,
Did Mike get hit again?
I think he did.
Maybe he was talking, and on my end anyway, he was just slowly breaking up and then
He was like he
stop.
was slowly getting robotic.
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear him just enough to know he's still.
If you're able to hear me now, actually, let me.
Now I
Okay.
can hear you.
Yeah.
You've snapped back in now, Mike. All right, so you were telling him that
Okay,
that you didn't unmake things, you just changed things.
That's right.
He just kind of makes an impatient gesture. Well, can you turn? You know, he looks at the one over there with your buddy. Can you turn this? And he tugs on the explosive collar. Can you turn that into air or something? I'm not with these guys because I want to be here. They got rid of their collars. They've got control of my collar.
How do they control it?
Some kind of remote control. I'm not sure if just one of them has it or if they've got a couple of the controllers passed around. But if I get too far out of line, they blow my head off.
I see. In that case, I am going. Given the state of the fight and how things aren't really going great, and I think she's going to take a leap of faith. And what do I know? Do I know anything? Have I? What do I know about Squadron? Could I actually? Yeah. Have I studied his? Have I studied his files?
Give me an intelligence roll and see how much you know about him.
Yeah. I generated this.
Okay. Difficulty's only going to be a 2 plus a die roll. Okay. Because like I said, this team was on the news. You know, they got beat up by the Vasilev. You know, it's the sort of thing a would-be superhero would probably look at. So you know there was a commotion with Squadron originally in Boston. I mean, he hit a few other places. where he was apparently hunting down a scientist that had experimented on him. A scientist backed by the government. There was a big stink. A lot of internal reviews in some of the government agencies. Some people got arrested, but how many of the people responsible got arrested versus just scapegoats? You're not sure, but there was a big to do about him. He apparently volunteered for this government team, and within the agencies, the government guys unofficially tend to refer to the team as the throwaways. But while he was definitely trying to kill the doctor that he was after, it's not like he was going around murdering random people or anything like that. He tended to keep civilian injuries and other than attacking that one military base, property damage fairly low. Basically, you don't get the impression he was a psycho or anything.
Gotcha. I'll say if I transmute the collars, will you help us get these other guys in line before you do whatever you're gonna do?
Sure. You just gotta take the collar off. He points over at the one by Helios. That's the original. That's my original. You need to get the collar off of him. It doesn't matter if us copies get blown up.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Actually, no. I don't think that would be strange to her at all. So yeah, she'll go ahead and transmute the collar. She'll turn to helium because it might be kind of funny to hear him with. Plus we have a helium shortage, so yeah, she'll turn the prime collar, so to speak, into helium.
All right. So when you turn and look, when you agree, and the agreement is made, and you turn and look at him, he kind of steps up and gives you a good view of the collar. Zach, you see the guy step away from you. He's looking at the transmuter. He kind of throws his head back, and suddenly this collar on his neck disappears. And then in a surprisingly squeaky voice, you hear him go, "Thanks," and then he clears his throat and sounds a little more normal.
So are we friends now, or do you mean need to have words later?
The original one looks like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that, kid. I was being blackmailed with an explosive collar, and nothing I could do."
Nah, it happens.
The other three you see all turn around and dive bomb at Gothic.
Nice.
So 3 rolls for him. 12, 8, and 12. She goes to dodge. So it's a 13, a 9, and a 12. So I think she got out of the way of every attack. See, 13 versus 12, 9 versus 8, and then 12 versus 12. So she takes half damage from the very last lick. So 7. She's got a 4 shield, so yeah, the first 2, she just flat out gets out of the way. She's very dexterous. And he just kind of clips her the second time. It doesn't seem to do her any real damage. Next up is Skyscraper. You hear him go, "Hey!" and call Squadron by an unflattering name. And then he grabs something on his belt. And all 3 of the copies explode. And it just kind of... Really, each one of them, there's a small explosion around the collar. And then the duplicate itself just sort of pops and doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, no blood, no gore. They just kind of pop. But the original one's over here just waving at skyscraper. Sathagwa.
You said I was unconscious. Is there anything?
If you can tap a quality to give yourself advantage, you could take a recovery.
Yeah, I will. Don't make me mad. I'm not gonna say it out loud. I'll do like I'm the god of, beep you up. Oh man, I told you not to put me in no PG comic book. But that is my turn getting back up, right?
Right. Now, are you taking your strength or your willpower and health?
Well, I wasn't reduced to 0. I was reduced to 5.
I may not. Let me check. I may not have read the whole thing out.
Oh, unless her attack bypassed my damage resistance. I think I misunderstood that.
All right. As long as she does at least 0 damage to you, and I think she did a point or 2 to you. It was a killing result. That's what so you had to make her. Since she got a massive success, you had to make a potential killing. There was a potential killing outcome that you had to. You made your strength check. So
she automatically put me down to 0.
Right, because she got a moderate success, she wound up with a moderate success on the. You made your strength roll, but she beat it by 1.
I just didn't understand how it affected my stamina.
The stamina drops to 0 and renders the character unconscious.
Okay.
But you're not considered to be dying unless you got a major or massive success. Or she gets 1.
So I have a choice between prowess and willpower, you said, right?
Strength or willpower.
I'm going to go with willpower. That'll put me at 5.
All right. So you're awake. You stand back up.
And that is my turn.
Puppet, you've seen Helios get up, glance over your shoulder. You may have seen Seth get knocked down and get back up. Either one of them could still use some help. But... Puppet, are you with us?
Yeah. Things have changed. I look at Helios. Yeah. You good, Helios?
I'm a little dazed, but I think I'll live.
Seth, you good?
I'm good.
Well, all right then. Huh. Oh well, Helios, get in there, and I'll just put a force field on Helios.
All right. So that gives him how much more damage reduction?
5 more points.
So that would stack to just +1, I think.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
No, like that's still like 7 damage.
Yeah, that's usually how stacking goes. I can't remember if. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably how that works. Oh, I think we lost Mike again.
Oh man.
Of course we did. It was his turn. Coming up. How long does the force shield last? Is it just concentration, or is there any kind of timing on that?
If I recall, it lasts its power level, but I'll double check.
Okay. Alright then, alright, so you boosted his damage resistance. Then it is Transmuter's turn. Though I guess you kind of spent your action destroying the collars. Is there anywhere you'd want to move to, Mike? Can you hear me, Mike?
Connecting. I don't know if anyone's actually able to hear me.
Yep, I can hear
Oh,
you.
I hear you now.
We can hear you just right now. Your video popped up and then froze.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, it looks like my. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm the one who's sorry. I should be. I'm sorry for holding up the game
Eh,
here. I think I'm disconnected on Discord, but I can talk to people through Zoom for whatever reason. Yeah, why is that? Anyway, let's if you can. Oh, I'm frozen up again.
all right. We can still hear you though, but at least for the moment. Okay, so you had basically used your action a little earlier to undo the to get rid of the collars. So I was asking if there's anywhere you wanted to move to, take cover, anything you wanted to say on your turn.
All right, how's this?
Looking good right now.
Okay, we'll see how long that lasts. I'm still not able to. Discord's still not connecting, unfortunately.
Well,
As long as we can hear you through Zoom, I guess.
Sure. All right.
yeah, as long as we can hear you and the OBS seems to be picking you up, so that's the two important things.
Okay. Cool. In the meantime, the last I heard, Seth was reviving, and yeah, I think that's where I was last.
Okay. Yeah, he got up, then Puppet put a force shield up around Helios, kind of boost his damage resistance.
Oh, okay.
And then it's your turn, but you had used your action to get rid of the collars.
Sure.
So I was just asking if you wanted to move anywhere, if there's anything you wanted to say. Because Transmuter would still have her movement.
Yeah, I think. Well, right. I might. Yeah, actually, no. I'm gonna stay put because I don't know if I'm gonna be. It's not like we can take cover from like skyscraper, for example.
No.
So I think I'll stay put for now.
Alright. Then it is Viltro Aquani's turn. He flies over. Ooh, target rich environment. As he flies over, he looks over at Squadron and just sort of shakes his head. Oh crap, I'm blanking on the word. Like when pirates would thunk you over the head and drag you on board the ship to put you to work. Shanghai?
Not
That might be-
Shanghai.
Keel
Shanghai.
No, not keel hauling.
Yeah, that's when they would tie a rope around you and throw you overboard
And then drag
let
you along the-
Yeah. Horrifying way to die.
Oh well. He flies by and
What
makes
are you
a...
talking about?
Kidnapped. Kidnapping is a word.
Well, yes. There was one very specifically that I was looking for.
Yeah, pirates had a special word for it, but I don't remember what it was either. I'm drawing a blank.
Careful up. Hello?
Yep, still here. Sorry, I was trying to look it up, but it's not that important. He makes a comment about, how you can't really trust a crew that you press into service.
That's gang.
But he doesn't seem especially angry at Squadron. He's just kind of it's the impression you get from him is kind of a shrug of his shoulders, like, well, we couldn't expect loyalty out of you. We had a bomb on your head. And then I'm going to roll a d6. On a 1 or 2, he'll attack Puppet. On a 3 or 4, he'll go after Transmuter. On a 5 or 6, he'll go after Seth. Because none of you really done anything to him to draw his attention. 3. So he is going after Transmuter. So he flies up. He's a little bit above you. He just straight arms out, fires energy blast at you. While yelling about the.
I think I can defend myself against what.
Yes, this would be a coordination thing. Let's see, with his power. Ah, yes, and he's screaming about
Now,
you feeling the full fury of the power primeval.
oh, he's got. Oh, wait. He's got it too.
Yes.
Interesting. So basically, I'm basically using my transmuting powers to as my dodge, and I kind of envision it as either just like as like a kind of like a split second reaction, either transmuting the attack or like maybe forming something like right before the attack gets to me. That's kind of how I envision.
Well, the attack is energy, so
looks like.
so more than likely you'd be putting something between you. You turn the air into a giant prism that makes the attack spray off in all kinds of different directions and colors.
Sure.
Or you just turn the air into asphalt, or stone or something that takes the hit.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead and give me a roll. 10 is the number you need to beat.
Look at that.
All right.
And it does work.
So how does it work? What do you do to deflect this attack?
I think I would basically turn the air into like let's go with the asphalt thing because this would be probably like simple, more like the simplest defense is a good defense, and the energy blast would oh wait, actually, you know what, that might not actually work because that there's going to be rubble. You know what?
Whatever you do works based on the die roll.
Yeah.
So sure, you make a little pillar of asphalt.
Yeah.
It may shatter into a million pieces, but they're little pieces. They're not going to get in the way. They're not going to cause anything.
Okay.
Because you rolled well.
Okay. Oh, cool. We'll do it that way then. That they basically just neutralize each other without too much terrible residual damage.
Yeah, the stuff goes spraying. Maybe that police car over here looks like it's got hit by a little bit of hail or something, but
Yeah.
And then it is Helios's turn.
Well, I'm going to jump at the guy who just tried to vaporize my sister and wail on it.
All right.
I like that you're already defensive with your little sister. That's pretty good. That's pretty quick work there.
That is a 12.
All right. And that's basically just you were just leaping and punching. So he gets to make a prowess. Let's see, evasive maneuvers. No, evasive maneuvers is coordination. This is his prowess. Pilot, military. Okay, just a straight prowess. He got an 8. So you beat him by 4. That is a major success. How much damage do you do?
I do 7 damage.
All right. He has got a force shield. Okay, his cosmic power is at 5, so he'll take 2 of that. But that's a major success, so you have the opportunity to slam him.
I would love to do so.
Alright, so it's his strength versus the full damage that you did, plus a d6. Which is basically your strength, so.
Oh,
Alright, so he failed by 1. Which I think knocks him prone. Because that's a moderate. Yes, so you've knocked him out of the air. He lands on his back on the ground. And his next action will have to be spent standing back up. And then that's back to the top of the order. And we flash back. Mike, tell us who Transmuter is.
Oh man.
There's gonna be some editing when I repost this one. I can tell.
It's because he lives in the wilds of Ohio, in Cleveland.
can Cleveland
That
even
small,
be called civilization?
that small rural community called Cleveland.
Right.
Poor Mike.
Sorry about this, everyone.
You're fine.
Hey, look, like I've said before, you should have seen all the tech issues we had first season.
It's like,
Good lord.
love the player, hate the internet.
All right, so we're flashing back to your recruitment, Mike, or Transmuter.
Oh, all right.
So tell us a little bit about her. What's her name?
Her name is Marcella Mandel, and let me call. And she is basically she was raised in like the kind of like the political elite culture of Washington D.C. Her mother is a high-powered lobbyist with the Dual Identity Advocacy Network, which is basically a lobbying firm for superhumans, heroic and villainous. And I kind of like this is one of my old campaign contributions from from season 2. And I guess kind of envision this as like the reason why superheroes have been, or one of the big reasons why superheroes have been allowed to operate primarily like unimpeded by the government all these decades.
Mhm.
And her mother Sydney is a big operative for that group. Her father, I think Simon, was basically an influential political writer and pundit, like basically a talking head type person. And the origin of Marcella was that basically her mother Sydney's first job in government was basically an intern for whatever government liaison the Primus had with the United States government. And I was very, very wary of the time frame, being the late 90s and the age of her mother at the time, and the whole situation kind of gives off like massive. I've been reading up on Monica Lewinsky and just like political scandals of the type at the time involving how young interns or aides in government and the older politicians who should really know better about those sort of things, right? And basically, the mother Sydney was like one of the lowest level officials in whatever liaison structure Primus had with the U.S. government, and in the course of his sowing of oats, she was one of the people that he had an affair with, and that never became public knowledge. She never got the full experience that Monica Lewinsky got from the public eye. Yeah, she did have the baby, and she did raise the baby secretly with the. I'm sure there's I'm sure that was known by the government, but it was agreed by all that the nature of the the existence of the relationship should be kept a secret, and so I think Marcella ended up like just raising, or excuse me, Cindy ended up raising my character as a mother. She some kind of deal where she managed to parlay like a kind of like permanent government employment as part of her agreement to keep that secret, and parlayed that into a very influential career in politics now, and eventually she as their own. I think I kind of envision them have not have I think she was raised fully to with knowing who her parents were, and the Primus did much like with Dan, helped her how to use her powers. Although she I think the Primus had more of a hands-off policy with the training, only become purpose by Sydney's directive, and also her powers, also Marcel's powers manifested in a way that was very unfamiliar to the Primus, because he didn't really have like transmutation powers.
But her mother had been raising her and training her.
Helped out as he could, and also like. The mother, and later on, I guess the stepfather, always raised her to be a hero, to follow in the Primus's footsteps. I was very much using the metaphor of like young athletes, like gymnasts and whatnot, like how they're kind of like just trained nonstop and often ruthlessly, with a ruthless kind of devotion to excel in that field. And I envision that carried out, if not by the Primus, then by a coterie of like retired supers who were very hard-assed and very very ruthless in the training. And she kind of grew up in that very structured environment, and always and like being a hero is never her choice, although she thinks it's a choice, but we'll see if that lasts on the team. And that's kind of like the upbringing she had.
All right. So she is, I guess, in the little gymnasium training facility that her mother has set up for her. Mm-hmm. Practicing away. Has not actually made a debut yet.
That's right.
Mom keeps saying soon. She's got people working on a costume. Probably hasn't asked for your input on the costume yet.
No. It'll be very Primus based, very based on the original one, but modernized. Mm-hmm. Probably no cape or sash, but the color scheme definitely, that sort of thing.
And you had a name. I know you sent me the name of like one of her main like trainers.
Oh yeah, well, I have two main trainers in mind. I only mentioned one of them. The primary trainer was the golden aged Oxford Commando, who was a British super soldier, and very old school, very old school military, very harsh, very commandeering. That whole vibe, very, I'm sure, very.
I'm just picturing Arlie Ermy.
And sexist and all that crap. I'm sorry?
I'm picturing Arlie Ermy, anytime he played a sergeant.
Yeah. That. Absolutely. Except more British than this.
Yeah, he'd be British though.
And I envision that he has he would have a training facility on the Falkland Islands, and he there's also like there's been generations of Oxford Commandos all throughout, and there is a current one. There is a new one that's currently active with I don't know, SAS or whatever. And some of the other ones have gotten in trouble over time, but that's a whole other story.
Mm-hmm.
The other main trainer I have might actually be someone I debut over the course of the series. I
Okay.
have this wacky idea for kind of like a new, like a hero of the hippie new age period. So but we can worry about that later.
So anyway, you're training at whatever facility you've got closer to home.
Yeah. Fairfax,
when-
Virginia.
Door flings open.
Right.
The commando comes trotting in, which is not unusual. You know, he's not always here, but he pops in pretty regularly. Following behind him's a 50-year-old woman or so. You know, dressed kind of business casual. But behind her is a man in a white and gold outfit. Got a cape and everything. More of a helmet and goggles setup than like a mask, but let's see, what would the commando call you? Would he just call you by your first name, or would he use code? Would he tend to use the code name all the time?
That's a good question. Let's go with the code name.
Transmuter front and center.
And he always screws it up because he always adds the U at the end that I took out. She will hop to I envision this is gonna feel like the introduction of the kids at the Sound of Music. You know, they all come. She'll like pop up all fully regimented, standing fully at attention, and all that stuff. It might even like do like a sir, yes sir sort of thing.
He looks at you. He turns around to the woman. Ma'am, sir, let me introduce you to Transmuter. You know, ma'am, I'm sure you've already got files on her. Your father, rest his soul, mentioned how mentioned your skill at bookkeeping. And then he looks over. Transmuter? This is Sharon. She worked with your grandfather. Oh, I mean, she worked with your father, excuse me. He didn't mess that
Her
up.
eyes widen.
She was kind of the voice in his ear. You know, much like we've trained you on the comm links, similar setup. She is looking to put together a team. She's already gotten your mother's approval. Well, I'll let her take it from here. And the commando steps back. Sharon steps forward. What was her first name again? Transmuter's first name again? Marcella. Sharon steps forward, offers you her hand. It's a pleasure to meet you, Marcella.
I give a very firm, professional shake.
Like the commando said, I worked with your father. She kind of glances over at the commando, and then whatever she's thinking, she apparently decides it doesn't matter. I'm actually, he was actually my grandfather. So we're kind of family. Through his first marriage, or through his only marriage, she goes, I don't know how much your father told you about his history, but my grandmother passed away in the 90s before you met your mother. Like the commando said, though, I'm putting together a team to try to fill my grandfather's place in the world. When threats arise that only he could have taken care of, I want a team ready to go take care of them. I've already recruited Helios. You may or may not have heard from him. She rattles off, where Helios is from. This may be a little awkward, but Helios is also grandfather's son or grandfather's child. And then she looks at Helios like she's waiting on him to say something or introduce himself or something.
Hi. Just gives a very tight, awkward wave.
Yeah, I'll walk up. I'll walk to him and extend my hand to shake as well.
Sharon goes, I know this is awkward.
She'll smile when she shakes Helios' hand and say, "Cool action name." She'll say.
Thanks. I workshopped it a little bit. You can just call me Dan.
Marcelo.
Sharon and the commando both go, but not in costume.
I mean, yeah, that's implied. I mean, like, look around. Who's watching? Who's watching?
Sharon kind of gives you a kind of a, hands up, fair enough. And the commando is like, you never know who's watching.
Also fair enough.
And the commando looks kind of old and grizzled. Probably not quite as old as he should, but that's typical of superheroes. But Sharon continues, Now the commando mentioned we'd already spoken to your mother, but of course you have a say in this too.
Oh, having said that to me, I would respond with, she would pause for a moment and say, but she's already approved, right?
Oh yes, I mean it's fine with her.
Oh, excellent. Yes, I'll take it. She would ask, she would ask the commando if does this change the training regimen? Are we going to start incorporating? I guess how many are there?
She tells you she has at least a couple of more that they're investigating.
Okay. I wonder if maybe she would react a little uncertain about all that. She would. Let's say she asks Sharon, "Well, how does this affect?" I already have a full training program established. How long will it take to recalibrate everyone to that? Like, it doesn't occur to her that everyone wouldn't just automatically just take on the same training she has.
Well, Sharon, there'll be some changing up. I've got my own facility. Now you and Dan, you of course have trained with the commando, trained with your father some. Dan is trained with your father. Some of the other recruits may not have had as much training, so they may have some catching up to do. The training we will do before the team actually premieres will largely involve teaching you to work together, to trust each other in combat. That sort of thing. When you're at home, you may very well continue your training regimen with the commando. That'll be up to you and him and your mother. Okay, I think you're back.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, but she, she tells you there'll definitely be some changes and adjustments to the training regimen. But rest assured, your training will continue.
Yeah, I think through that explanation, I think Marcelo will be very, very taken aback by that, and she'll immediately just turn to the Oxford Commando and ask, "But what about my program? I've spent so much time working on it. The program was I was going to debut as a solo hero, not as part of a team. Of course, giving the Oxford Commando a full opportunity to dress me down for being, for being obstinate or whatever. But I feel like her initial reaction would be to be dismayed by like the sudden change in what has been her entire life's focus.
What have I always told you? No plan survives contact with the enemy. He looks over at Sheriff, not implying that you're the enemy, ma'am. I just mean...
Oh, yeah. She was going to say something about that.
I just mean no plan remains unchanged.
She'll immediately... May I suggest that maybe he even throws in a dig about, for someone who's supposed to be all about changing elements, you certainly seem to be resistant to change now. That sort of thing.
That sounds like something...
He'll be... Exactly. He's a big meaty, to put it lightly. But then she will snap to and just go with the flow from there on. At least for now. At least in this scene.
And the commando tells you, teams are a good way to get experience under your belt, while minimizing the chance of failure. He doesn't speak of worrying about danger or injury. It's failure that's it's got to be avoided. Why, back in the war, he threw himself on several grenades. And with that, we will fade back to the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So top of the order is Gothic. And they no longer have a number advantage on y'all. She's going to continue over to Seth. And rather than throwing daggers or anything, she comes at you this way and she just puts both hands up in front of her. And rather than a dagger, it's a full-size sword in her hand. Or at least kind of the shadowy outline of one. And she's going to take a swing at you. Let's see.
I would totally use determination for dodge, but I've already used my 1 point.
Well, you could always give yourself trouble. Oh, well, never mind, you rolled.
That's alright.
Would I still need to burn out a point of determination to use my interpose? To take the hit for him.
What does the knack let you do?
Yeah, it lets me use it as a reaction and not a move. Basically, if I used it without the knack, I would have used my move for the turn. Or for my next turn.
Gotcha. This
She got another massive success on me.
So yes, you could choose to jump in front of him if you wanted to.
Alright, yep, I'll take the hit.
Alright, so you jump in front. If I recall right, you still get to make a defensive roll at -2, I think. Let me check. Because I was just running the Marvel game. Their interpose is similar, but a little different. You become the target of the attack and may defend as a reaction, including blocking the attack, but the attacker has a +2 on the effort to attack a test against you. Alright, so she got a 13 on her roll. So +2 is a 15 is the number you're looking to beat.
And I will block that.
Okay.
She's got some heavy hits.
Alright, so that's a 13. Oh, she hit you, but only because of that +2. Let me check blocking here. Okay, so you're using your strength. Okay, but she beat you by 2, so no killing effects or anything like that go off. She does her damage to you. So that is 6 points of damage. I think your resistance is currently 7.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the way I'm picturing it is you dive in front and you try to catch the blade. But you don't quite catch it in the clap, so the sword goes on through and hits you in the chest, but your damage resistance and the force shield puppet put on you, takes the blow.
You really could just surrender right.
Yeah, so the government can put another bomb on me, right? For somebody with a starburst on their chest, you're not very bright.
Oh.
And then she kind of squints, or is that supposed to be the sun?
Oh, okay.
Let me guess. You're Ra or somebody.
Helios, actually. Also, it is very unfortunate for you that I am perfectly okay with hitting women hitting women. Wait. Can I rephrase that?
Puppet yells from the back, "No, you cannot."
Damn it!
Alright, then it is Squadron's turn. And nobody's paying any attention to him. And technically, he has already helped. So he just beelines out of there.
Of course.
Thanks, Squadron. Thanks.
If Transmuter glances over and happens to see him, he just sort of pops her a salute. Good luck, kid!
What lesson have we learned today?
At least he's not trying to kill us.
No, he is not a good guy. He's just not a complete psycho.
The lesson we learned today is if you remove an explosive collar from someone, they leave combat. And they're not punching us anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's advantages all the way around.
It's still a win, but
It's not the win we want.
right.
Alright, so at this point, Skyscraper comes across. Helios, he is focused on you.
Like that.
Oh, so you like hitting
Look
women,
at
do
me,
you?
Helios. Oh,
And he's just running up on you like the full Charlie Brown, run, get ready to kick something. So he says that about the time you see him drawing that big right foot back. And he gonna try to kick you.
I'm going to plant my feet and bring up a guard.
All right.
Block it.
Big and strong. Alright, so this is prowess. He's got stealth and drive, but not anything else. So straight prowess. 9 is the number to beat.
I rolled an 11.
And you were using the block again?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so you just kind of brace up. I'm trying to remember if that... Does that function like a... I was just looking at it. Where it was. Blocking. Alright, use this with sheer strength. Blocking is normally only effective against bashing, blasting, and rushing attacks. When blocking, take your action to do so. Until the start of your next action, you defend against those 3 types of attacks with strength. A failed attack outcome means you blocked or shrugged off the attack. Alright. So yeah, you just kind of brace up and sort of catch the foot on your shoulder. And you see him kind of wobble, having to catch his balance because the foot, his foot suddenly stopped.
All three of you are woefully outclassed.
You see his eyes under the mask just kind of squinch up. He gets a really pissed off look on his face. Satagwa.
My turn?
It is your turn.
I am gonna go after Goth because I am gonna out freaking 90s her if it kills me.
Morgoth off! Woo!
Oh, clearly what you need to do is reform her. No longer is she gothic. Now she's the hot topic of injure.
Oh no!
Oh God.
Jeez, I'm not gonna get her with a 7.
Alright, using Shadow Strike.
I'm getting terrible rolls this game. That's okay.
Alright. Prowess. She got an 8.
Yep,
So you go
I'm
to slice at her. She just does duck out of the way.
Seth is just not happy about this. That's all I can say.
He has found his nemesis.
He does not like being one-upped. And she keeps doing it. Every freaking time.
Puppet.
So looking at the situation, Puppet will just walk up to... Is Viltro flying?
Yes. He's 10 or 15 feet in the air.
Ah, well dang.
Because when he flew up, he didn't fly up and punch Transmuter. He flew up and started blasting at her from the air.
Puppet will walk up to Skyscraper then and attempt to touch him with my... Affliction power.
Okay.
Essentially, I'll just be pumping in cosmic power into him in a painful fashion.
Alright, give me a roll to hit him. He has the quality big while he's got his growth powers turned on.
Gross. Minimum roll.
Oh, yeah, that's not looking too good. Alright, and then he will roll his prowess. And he rolled max, so he got an 11. So yeah, he sees you scrambling up to his foot, and he just sort of takes a little half step back, kind of jerks that foot away from him. Since when do superheroes have pet zombies?
I take offense to that. Zombies wouldn't have the ability to both talk and communicate. I'm just a puppet.
Nah, man, last zombie movie I saw, they were getting on the phones telling them to send more cops. Some of them talk.
Isn't that movie from like the 80s?
He just...
And that's the newest one you've seen?
No, just the latest one he saw. He said the last one he saw. Turner Classic Movies, man.
Now they've got DoorDash. Send more brains.
And then it is Transmuter's turn.
How's that building look? The one that was being attacked earlier.
Damaged. It does not look like it's going to fall because, any supports he tore out, well, there's now a big wedge of steel kind of slid into the damaged area. Basically, you've patched it pretty well.
Okay.
It's going to be a pain for the engineers to unpatch it to fix everything, but, you know.
Well, you know, I can just, you know, I assume if we survive this fight, I'll be helping with cleanup. So we've got ourselves Skyscraper. We've got Viltro. I think I'm gonna leave Seth to his, you know, the whole Gothic thing.
Not going to interrupt the Goth on Goth combat.
Yeah, exactly. Viltro's right now. Was Viltro? Did you say that Viltro was flying before?
Yes, he's been in the air the entire time you've been here. You know, he was in the air with the cop car, and then he flew over and started blasting at you.
Oh.
Only 10 or 15 feet. He's not like super high up.
Right. Okay. In that case, I will.
Oh no. No, I'm sorry. I screwed that all up.
Oh, how so?
I forgot somebody had knocked Viltro out of the air.
That was me.
Ah, well, dang.
Had knocked him prone. So yeah, I forgot he has not taken his action to actually stand up yet. He's laying there.
If he's still on the ground, may I try to form some, I don't know, create a basically a weight to keep him down on
All
a
right.
pin?
That sounds like you are That sounds like you're wanting to power stunt the snare ability, which is, you know, absolutely something you could power stunt with transmutation.
Yeah, in fact, yeah. Since I was thinking, since I deliberately made a character with like a low amount of determination, like I was trying to think of how, you know, how I could use this transmutation power, and it seems like every time it's used to imitate like a different power, it's listed as an extra. So I was assuming I'd have to like power stunt it if I wanted it to do anything funky, like, you know, like anything that imitates another power. So normally I would just try to do that by just taking trouble, like in the form of a delayed page of action, you know, because that gets expensive. But since this needs to be a quick thing, yeah, I'll spend determination, tag better heroics through chemistry, and try to do the snare thing.
All right. I believe snare is coordination.
I think it was binding.
You're right. Binding is probably what it's called. I run too many superhero games. Yes, it is binding. It is coordination. Yeah, coordination versus coordination.
Yeah, it's a coordination test. Okay.
You got a +2 because he's on the ground, and you're right up on him.
Oh.
Or he's got a -2. The math will work out the same.
So let me enter that in manually then. 1d6 plus 5 plus 2.
And he rolled a 1 on the dice, so you only got to beat a 5. So you beat him by 3.
Oh, good, because I rolled a 1 also.
And that is a massive, so you got him in a complete hold. The target is fully restrained and cannot make physical actions except to escape. Taylor, since my screw up messed up your plan, give yourself a determination point.
Understood.
That's an easier way, I think, to try to fix it than to try to roll anything back.
That is fair.
And let's see, what is your transmutation rank?
9.
Okay. So whatever you put over him has got a material strength of 9. He's going to have some difficulty breaking out of that. Yeesh. But yeah, it's Viltro's turn.
I basically built a building.
Escaping. Right now. Exhaustion, evading, rushing, throwing, searching. Ah, there we are. Alright, so he can roll his prowess or his strength versus the strength of whoever's holding you. Or in the case of this, it'd be your transmutation power, because that's how stout a material you make. So, might give me a d6 plus 9 roll for the difficulty of his escape attempt.
Well, it's
Uh-oh, he was saying something.
It was.
He did roll though, so
Yes, alright, so the difficulty I'd have to beat is an 11, which is not impossible for Viltro to do. But it is not likely either. So this is his... Add a roll for his boosted strength. Which is his strength. Alright. And he didn't even come close to getting loose, so. He's struggling under whatever you put under him, or put over him. And then it is Helios' turn.
I think I'm going to pop Gothic right in the face.
You want to pop what now?
Gothic in the face.
Okay.
Oh,
Gonna put your money where your mouth was, huh? I'm all about hitting some,
Okay.
all about hitting some women.
7 to hit her.
Okay, if she rolls a 1, she's beat you. And she rolled better than a 1, so.
I've got a plan. I have a different.
Oh,
plan of
how
attack
much
there.
did she beat you by, though?
Oh no.
4 points.
So that's a massive. Let's see, does that give her a plus on her next one, or does she smack you for free?
She might get a free smack.
Pretty sure it's a free smack.
And that is evading, I believe. If your evasion result is a massive failure for the attack, which it is, you also automatically hit the attacker with a close combat attack you're capable of. Okay. So you take the lick from her sword. Basically, she gets out of the way and comes up with a free shot at that sword, which is 6 points of damage, does not get through your damage resistance.
No, seriously, you can both just stop.
And that brings us to the top of the order. And we will flash back to Seth.
All right.
Seth, tell us Seth's real name.
Seth is Seth Orwin. He's probably the youngest. He's 20 years old. Grew up in poor small town Oklahoma. He did not know the Primus with his dad until after the Primus's sacrifice. He basically lived with his mom and his stepdad for a long time. He spent a lot of his teens years in mental hospitals or even in juvenile jails. He does have, which he hasn't used yet, emotion control, which is fear only, and it's uncontrolled, which means he scares the shit out of everybody at some time or another because it just goes off on its own. And his parents, his family that raised him do not, they're too afraid to talk to him. So he's probably incarcerated in some form when he's found.
Okay. Now, has he gone out and done any sort of public things with his superpowers?
He has. He's a definite anarchist, and he has a history of villainy. Not super relevant, but he was the one in the fight with Landshark that, got Landshark in jail early on and in Spear's custody. Because he tried to drown him and, got lucky with that kind of attack.
Probably not lucky for the real estate values everywhere, everybody around.
No. But yeah, so he doesn't have much of a reputation, but he does, what reputation he has is as the villain, so he's trying to reform here.
So you're in the psych wing of a let's not say the psych wing of a prison. You have checked yourself at this point. You have checked yourself into a facility, one that's got a reputation for being willing to work with people with powers. You are on your second psychiatrist. Your powers triggered. The fear power triggered on the first one. And while intellectually he understands that it was a power that triggered it, he still can't stand to be around you. Doesn't feel like he could give you the proper care you needed, so he got passed on to another psychiatrist. But you get called, you get asked to come to your psychiatrist's office. When you step in there, you see two costumed individuals. One in a white outfit with a sunburst on the chest and a helmet and full-on cape. Who's male. You see a woman in blue and gold, reminiscent of the Primus. You clearly get the impression it's probably based off his costume to some degree. I don't think she's got the swashbuckling boots, the cape, or the sash belt. I don't know if she's got the little shield on her chest that the Primus had or not.
I was thinking it might be. It's maybe a different Greek letter.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know if there's a Greek letter that represents alchemy, but that's what I was thinking.
Okay. There's time to make those decisions later. But definitely, you look at that and you go, "Oh, that's based off the Primus."
And by the way, Seth is holding his. He's got his little pet that he's always got with him. He's small right now, so he's not a threat, but it looks kind of like a rat, sort of, maybe more like a. Well, it looks kind of like a rabbit, but maybe more like a rat. It's creepy and disturbing. It's got a few tentacles.
It's like an intentionally ugly stuffed animal.
Yeah.
There's also a woman with him who is speaking to this psychiatrist as you walk in, Dr. Brahm.
So look around like, "Hey man, what is this?"
These people wanted to meet you, and I thought it might not be a bad idea. Since we've had no luck in helping you stabilize the use of your powers. This is Sharon. Let's see. At this point, Seth knows the Primus is his father, though he never met the Primus.
Okay.
Is that something that he let the psychiatrist know?
No, why not? If
Okay.
if he asks, it's not something he's gonna.
But she worked with your father.
Will snort.
Well, perhaps you should have a seat. It's not alarming information I'm about to tell you, Seth. But it'll be maybe a bit of a shock. Perhaps, sit down.
I don't think we're gonna like this, Reg.
It's not bad news, I promise. But Sharon confirms that where you had told me you were the Primus's child or son. She's confirmed that. Though she assures me that your father did not know that. She's discovered it doing research later. Research that has led her to. He looks over the two costume people. Track down some of your siblings.
Siblings?
Yes, your father had other children, apparently.
You mean I've got family that's not scared of me?
I mean, I could probably kick your ass if I needed to. But you seem fine by me, even with your record.
So yes, this is two of them. Helios and Transmuter. I'm not privy to their actual names. That's superhero stuff. But Sharon's got an offer she'd like to make you. I think it would be good for you. But let me leave y'all alone for a few minutes. Just in case she needs to reveal anything to you about your father that I don't that I, not being a family member, don't need to know. And the doctor gets up and leaves. Sharon turns to you. Well, he's got the most shocking news out of the way, I suppose. What he doesn't know is I didn't just work with your father. I'm his granddaughter. And this woman looks, like I've said before, probably around 50. I'm sure you know enough of your father's history, to know how old he is. He met your mother after my grandmother had died. He did not handle the death very well. There were a series of women. But since his loss, the world is vulnerable. And I'm trying to put together a team that can try to fill that empty space, to cover that vulnerability. So that when disasters, attacks, things that it would take, someone of grandfather's power level to handle, we'll have a team that we can send in. No one of you may be as powerful as Grandpa was, but together you should be able to more than make up the difference. I know you've got a slightly checkered past, but I don't think you're a bad kid.
So wait a second. You're my niece, Grandma, and what are you asking?
I am technically your niece, or half niece, step niece, whatever. I'm asking you to join a team I'm putting together.
He'll laugh and he'll be like, "You hear that, Reg? They want us to be heroes."
if my grandfather had known about you, that's what he would have wanted and what he would have, tried to help you accomplish.
Wait a second.
Your sister
With
here.
heroes-
Oh, go ahead.
Go on.
She was just gonna say, your sister here had some trouble controlling her powers initially. Her powers are much different from yours, but
So wait a second. With heroes, aren't there rules?
yes.
What kind of rules?
Well, the entire point of superheroing: protect those that can't protect themselves. Help maintain the status quo as long as the status quo doesn't involve repressing anyone or harming anyone. The entire world has come under threat a time or two in the last few years, so obviously opposing that. I'm sure you remember the mind-controlled satellite incident a few years back. And then, of course, all the aliens here recently. That's the sort of things your father would help take care of.
And he'll smack Reg. It's like, come on, Reg, be cute. We're going to be heroes. And then Reg will turn into the little chihuahua.
That's a good first step, actually. And that's good control of your powers. I was led to believe you didn't have a lot of control over your friends.
He'll show, some scars on his shoulders, like, not all the time. Sometimes, the darkness just takes control. Maybe of my pets, maybe of me.
We'll try to teach you to control that. Like I said, we've had some luck. Your sister had some luck learning how to control a wild power. Even though hers was quite different from grandfather's, much like yours is.
He'll just sort of look at, the other two and it's like, well, all right then, let's make Papa proud.
And then she goes and calls the psychiatrist back in, and there's some paperwork to fill out. You had checked yourself in, so as long as the psychiatrist doesn't think you're a danger, you can check yourself out. And like he said, he thinks your best shot at normalcy, if you will, would be learning to control the powers. He doesn't think there's anything psychologically wrong with you. He thinks that your power is not being controlled that's causing the problem. He thinks these people might be able to help you. So yeah, you're signing yourself out, and we cut back to the fight.
Like, nice guy, bad doctor.
He would like you to continue to visit occasionally. Some sort of counseling is still probably helpful. All right, so top of the order, we have got y'all all clustered around close together. Gothic sort of dances around and tries to put Seth between her and Helios. And then takes a swing at Seth again. She's laughing and having a good old time. Helios is getting on her nerves, but she's enjoying fighting Seth.
She's just enjoying tormenting me.
Alright, so you got a 7, she got a 13.
Again.
Alright, so that beat you by 6.
I can't roll anything higher than a 7 today.
I think they've been rolling 6 or 1s, so I understand.
So you take 6 points of damage. You know, subtract your damage resistance.
Okay.
And then give me a strength roll. Because she got a
See if I
massive
die.
success.
I can just make it another round. I've got her. I know what to do now, but it's not going to happen.
Alright, let me look up the shadow alternate form. See exactly what that does do. You have no strength, you cannot touch or affect physical objects. You're immune to physical attacks except for light-based attacks, which have an additional degree of effect on you.
Oh, I was mistaken about that.
You have wall crawling ability and invisibility limited to when you are surrounded by shadow or dim light.
And I'm two-dimensional.
Yep. Alright, so you got a 6 on your strength. She's got to roll the 6 for her.
I don't think she could roll. I don't think she could roll that low.
If she rolls a 1, she'd have a 7. She got a 10.
Yeah.
So that beats you by 4. So yeah,
Boom,
Seth
boom,
goes
boom.
down.
He's like dead.
Well, no, he would be losing strength levels each round until they get stabilized. But, up to you whether he stays in his shadow form or drops back to normal.
I got to get him some martial arts.
Last thing you hear is her saying something about how Hicks shouldn't play at being goth.
Wow.
Oh, someday that little emo baby is gonna get it. Someday.
Skyscraper takes a big step over this way and tries to stomp on Helios.
We taking the block action again.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. Alright, he got an 11.
Ah.
That's not great. So you got an 8. So that is a major success. Take 8 points of damage.
I'll take 1 of that.
Then give me a strength roll versus his.
Better, but not great.
Alright. So, moderate success. He drives you down into the ground, basically, as he moves his foot back, you're prone, you're laying there prone. But he didn't, stomp you down into the sewer underneath the street or anything. Alright. Seth is up, but he is unconscious. Can you recover more than once in a session?
I've already used my determination anyway.
Oh, okay. Then we will drop down to Puppet.
Puppet will walk over to Seth and heal him for 4 points.
Alright. I keep moving your
You will-
token. I should let you move your own token.
And then he will... whatever's easier for you. Then he'll politely ask Gothic, listen, can you just take you and your boy and head out? We don't, we're not here to fight you and knock you unconscious. We were just here to make you stop rampaging. You want to take the boy and leave, you can.
You're new at this, aren't you?
Lady, I'm dead. I don't care I don't care what y'all do.
Oh yeah, I thought that was at a distance. I thought that was makeup. You're really a zombie. Do you really eat people?
Told you
Well-
she was an emo chick.
Calling me a zombie would be a misnomenclature. Because, my body physically is healing. It is regenerating. It's just something is causing it to be very slow. But I don't have organs anymore for the most part.
Well, that would probably slow you down.
Yeah, the brain damage is too.
She looks like this is just the greatest conversation she's ever had in life. Transmuter! Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
It makes you feel better. I had to dig myself out of my own coffin with my bare hands, which is why I don't have fingernails currently.
That is so cool. I just noticed her mini's kind of small. What's going on with that? There we go. Alright, then it is Transmutor.
Alright, so
Or Transmuter. I gotta figure out how
I
to...
think what I'd like to do is, and this will probably take a little while because I don't have any more determination, so I'll have to invoke some trouble. And I would like to propose that that trouble take the form of a missed page. Like basically, I just have to like take extra time to figure out exactly how I want to do what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to do is, and I'll tag this through Better Heroics through Chemistry, is to turn the oxygen into like some kind of knockout gas for Skyscraper.
Just a big block of it around his head. Yeah. But that's up high enough that it's not hitting everybody else.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
It's gotta be knockout gas that's not heavy enough to fall down on us.
Well, I acknowledge that's a big flaw in the plan, but I don't know, things are looking like I don't see any other way to affect neutralizing Skyscraper's threat except to like put it down literally. But that's gonna take I guess like at least a page to try to figure out. So
all right. So the trouble is you lose a turn, so you lose this turn, and then next turn you can do the power stunt. So figure out exactly what kind of power you want to use to do that. Probably stun or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's probably what it'll be, but I'll confirm that.
Okay.
And hope I don't get knocked out in between them.
Then it is Viltro Aquani. He is going to try to escape again. So Mike, give me a 9 plus a d6. He's using his boosted strength. Oh, he missed it by 1.
I see.
So yeah, he's still struggling under that whatever kind of metal you put him in, or whatever crystal or.
Yeah, like a big slab of stone or something.
Okay.
Like, something that's building sized. So it's pretty huge. If it comes down, that could cause a problem.
Well, it could be that big, or you could make it something smaller that's more of like almost like a super alloy or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. I could do that.
You know, it doesn't have to be the full size. It's the material strength that's important.
Sure.
But he failed to get up. And then Helios.
I will stand up.
You triumphantly stand up, cape in the wind. Brush the gravel off your chest. The big Nike swoosh from the bottom of his shoe that's, stamped on your chest. Okay, well, and that's your action for the round. So back to the top of the order, and we will flash back to Puppet. Tell us about Puppet, Taylor.
Puppet is the remains, well, most of the remains, of one David Spike. Person on their way to being valedictorian at med school. Well known, popular. Son to a single mother who very openly states that her son was born from a superhero, but never gives the name except to him. Trained by her, and then as his cosmic powers began to permeate, began to be trained by the Primus, who trained him until his powers plateaued, and then the Primus became slightly less interested. And began to push him more for the become a doctor than become a superhero.
Yeah. The powers you displayed at that point weren't something that really screamed superhero, I assume.
They were definitely above average of heroes. He could mimic most of the things the Primus could do to a minor degree. So he was not a replacement for the Primus by any stretch of the imagination. But you could tell he could do most of the things. He could fly. He had super strength. He could react to things. He had powers ready, but he had to activate them. They weren't naturally there. He had to will them into happening. And that delay time alongside other things, and he just never became quite enough. So the idea was simply save lives using my intelligence instead of my body.
Then what happened?
Yes?
Oh, I just said then what happened, because I kind of know what's coming next.
Then shortly after the Primus's demise, as we've put it, on a trip with his mother, who had begun dating again after the Primus's passing, they were hit by a car, and the next thing, Puppet woke up in a coffin, strung together, sewing notches, scars. Puppet knows that he's dead and was put through the ropes that a mortician puts a body through to put it together for a funeral. But he also had a bullet in his head and didn't know how that happened, and then proceeded to have to dig himself out of his own coffin.
Now, you have been up and running around for a couple of weeks when this happens. Probably disoriented. I don't know how together you were mentally after this. But you are basically hiding out in an old warehouse. And you lived in or around Seattle? Am I remembering that right?
I don't recall giving a specific location. But...
Well, we had discussed who your mother was dating, which would have likely had you in and around Seattle, because that's where that guy's from.
Oh.
So you're hanging out in an old warehouse. You've mostly been trying to avoid people because you look like a freaking zombie. But when suddenly the main door of the warehouse gets pulled open, and you see a foursome come strolling in. For the rest of you, Sharon had roused you up, loaded you in the sedan, which, like I said, is actually kind of a vertical takeoff landing plane looking thing, and zipped off to the outskirts of Seattle. She seemed a little pissed. She tells you about one of your siblings that was in a car accident, died. It was one your father knew about. Your father had trained him a little bit, but his powers just weren't quite up to snuff. She tells you, when he was in medical school, he was doing marvelously in medical school, but died in a car accident. She's like, she actually made it out to the funeral. This was since your father had passed, so he couldn't go, of course. And then she'd gotten a report that somebody had robbed the grave. And she shows you on the phone where there's been a couple of quote unquote zombie spottings. And while the picture, the one picture that got put up was kind of fuzzy, she recognized the suit he was wearing. So she doesn't know if some nut job, dug up the body and like reanimated it, or used the skin to make some kind of creepy robot. She doesn't know what's going on. But she's basically taking y'all out to investigate the most recent sighting. It's not really the hero debut kind of thing, but since she's got no idea what's going on, she wants all of you there. In costume. So Seth has got his robes. And it's those 4 people that you see, Taylor, that Puppet sees walking into the building.
Can Puppet see the vehicle?
Yeah, it would have landed in the parking lot outside. So.
And Puppet will look up. That's the Primus's VTOL. Oh no.
So you're aware your father had one, though he didn't actually use it all that much.
It's more of show a picture of it. See how cool I am, son? Be like me. But Puppet stands up. Hello. This is not the best time to be meeting. How are you?
The older woman that's with him, that's not in a costume, does have some kind of weird looking blaster pistol in her hand. She's not pointing it at you though, but she's holding it in a professional manner that implies she knows how to use it. When you start talking though, she looks at you. Yes, that was your father's. Or, no, she wouldn't say that quite yet. She's like, yeah, that was the Primus's. Not that he actually used it, but sometimes he needed it for other people.
Not
David, is that you?
That's a question that would be difficult to answer in my current physical state. I'm sorry, organs have been removed from this body and I've got brain damage. I'm trying to form words for you.
David, did somebody remove you from your grave, or did you vacate yourself?
I didn't want to stay in there. It was I don't even breathe right now, but it was suffocating.
Oh,
medically I shouldn't be alive right now.
She holsters her gun. How much do you remember about what happened?
We were on our way to lunch. Gentleman drive. My mother was on the passenger side with me. We were coming out of a stoplight. A big van. I think it was targeting, because there's no way you go 100 plus into a light like that.
Well, there's always idiot drivers, but you make a valid point.
And Puppet will turn to show, like, there's a hole. I'm pretty sure this happened from a gun.
She approaches and actually kind of takes you by the back of the head. Yeah, that's definitely a bullet wound. The autopsy report didn't mention a bullet wound.
Mom probably wanted to keep it covered up that kids of the Primus were being hunted by someone. She knew there were more than just me.
Oh, yes, well, yes, there is. Then she gestures to the, 3 people behind her.
Yeah, I can feel the color coming out of them.
Seth will give a creepy grin.
Sharon just looks at you. Colors? What?
It power different. I can't fly. Things are different.
Your powers are different since you woke up.
Yeah.
Oh, great. My file's going to be useless for you then.
I mean, I'm still trying. I don't even know if it's to be me. Clearly different. I'm the struggle. There's nothing else in here but what is thinking. But what is thinking isn't David because of Brain is David. But Brain's damaged. I can't say I'm 100% David until Brain is intact again.
Do any of the siblings have anything to say to this little exchange?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you're someone that needs help.
I'll kind of whisper to him. Sometimes I'm not always Seth.
Not now, Seth.
No. Marcella is like, she's visibly uneasy, and she's probably been that way too. She was probably the same way when we all met Seth. She's keeping it to herself, but she's not. She doesn't feel great about this whole team thing. But that's all you see from her.
When she met Helios, it was like, okay, I made this. It's another actual superhero. Okay. And then she meets the other two. It's like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about this.
Seemed pretty cool.
Well, David, come with us. I was recruiting a bunch of your siblings for a team, and you weren't really in consideration for that. But we'll certainly do anything we can to help you. And perhaps if your new abilities are more hero oriented, well, we'll worry about that once we get you settled in. We should really contact your mother.
Does she know that I'm not in the box?
She is aware that the official story, she was notified that your grave was robbed. I even came out and poked around a little bit. I don't know if she's still looking into it or not. I don't think she was taking it very well. She was certainly in a bad way at the funeral, which was understandable.
I'm not sure seeing the body like this would exactly be helpful.
Sharon kind of looks thoughtful about that.
I don't have enough memories to make her feel better. I still can't tell where I am.
Okay, I guess we can wait and discuss that. See if you improve. Well, let's get you out of here. Some people spotted you around here. It's how we found you.
Also, where am I exactly? I can't read anymore.
Oh, and she rattles off whatever neighborhood. Like I said, it's the it's a little rundown warehouse section, outskirts of Seattle.
Okay. Close to home. Got it.
And then they, kind of usher you into the jet. And you would have spent all of you would have spent, the next several weeks training together. In Puppet's case, figuring out what his abilities were.
And getting most of his motor function back.
Yes, he has noticeably improved since you first met him, even though he still looks like a train wreck. Figured out, figured out most of his new abilities.
If it makes you feel any better, Sathag will be like, "Hey man, I think you're cool, Puppet."
Thank you, Seth. I'm just glad I'm just glad I can tell I'm growing things out of myself again.
So I'm going to assume that the decision to tell your mother is being pushed back since you appear to be improving. That they may wait to tell your mother until you look a little more like David.
Until I can prove that I am David and not just something that has taken over a dead body.
That's fair enough. And she's got contacts with mystical knowledge that, if you want to have confirmed by now that you are David, or that Puppet is David, you can. Or if you want that to be a lingering thing, it can still be a lingering thing.
Wolfwitch cameo.
I think it's just going to be a lingering kind of thought.
And then we will cut back to the battle. Let's see. Okay, Gothic can't do much to... She knows she can't do much to Helios. Transmuter is standing there with her eyes glowing. And she's got the zombie in front of her. So yeah, she looks at Puppet. So if you don't have your internal organs, does that mean it doesn't hurt? Will it not hurt when I do this? And then she proceeds to try to run you through with her sword.
No, but it's going to hurt you.
And she doesn't say it like she's being sarcastic. She doesn't say it like she's being smarmy. It's like she's really just curious. Is this going to hurt? She's into zombies, but she's never met a real one before. All right, and 8 is the number you need to beat.
Quality of hers.
It probably falls under her goth chick quality to some degree.
Oh, right.
All right, you are one of the first. I can't remember. Somebody else may have dodged one of her shots at some point, but so yeah, she steps forward. A well-practiced lunge. She has clearly been trained in using blades, but you manage to sidestep it or whatever.
As I dodge it, I will tell her, I don't really want anyone to get hurt here, and I have an aura that if you touch me, it will burn you. You need to be careful and not touch me.
She draws back. Oh, good to know. And the sword in her hand morphs into one of the daggers that she throws. I wish more heroes were, so polite and helpful like you.
We gotta stop doing that.
I'm just a puppet.
No.
So she takes a step. She takes a step back from you. But she's like, "No, you should have called yourself Meat Puppet."
Oh.
So much more metal.
Well, I hate to tell you, kid, most of the meat in the human body is from the organs, and lifts up shirt, shows a scar straight down the middle. I was an organ donor before I died.
So you're like going around. Oh, you should go around like gather your organs back up from whoever has them now.
No, the kid in Baltimore that I see his school zone every day, he's doing fine. I'd rather him have the gift of sight than rip my eyeball out of his head.
What? Interesting.
They're my organs. I still feel them.
Oh, that's something wonderful and new you decide to show us class.
The look on Gothic's face is like you are her favorite
We
superhero
almost
ever.
Age of action. Wow.
That is funny.
Well, I mean, they were innocent people. I didn't think I'd have to explain the person who's poisoning my liver in New Orleans. Yeah, it's theirs technically now. I'm growing a new one.
All right. So then Skyscraper goes. And he looks around like somebody that just heard something. Babe, I think we got spear incoming. And then he tries to punt Helios.
Oh boy.
Looks like he's going for distance this time.
Nope, still gonna try and block it.
All right, 11's the number to beat.
It's a match.
All right, so you take half damage, so that's like 4 points of damage. It's not enough to actually do anything to you. Sethagwa.
Okay. I am changing my plan of attack.
Okay.
After Goth called me a hick, I'm like, listen, emo chick. You don't know what you're messing with. I am the darkness. And I'm going to do what I should have been smart enough to figure out all along. Seth is going to use his emotion control, which is fear only. And of course, uncontrollable, which means you could activate it at any time. And probably means you could decide that, no, it's not going to work the way I want it to. But I'm going after her with that. I'm just going to scare her off.
Okay.
And it is against her awareness.
Alright, so we need Gothic's awareness. It's not her lowest stat, but it is one of her lower ones.
Because there's no way I'm going to beat her in a fist fight.
No, she is very good in combat. Her powers aren't super high ranked, but she is skilled. All right, so you beat her by 5, so that's a massive success. And what does a massive success on emotion control fear do? Let's see. Emotion control. Places the emotional quality on the target. Concentrate to maintain it for the entire chapter. So she now has the afraid quality. You got a massive success, so I will effectively let anybody on the team tap it 3 times for free. You know, kind of like you would set up a maneuver. So that's 3 free tappings of it.
I thought she had to run away.
That's how it used to be.
Oh,
think that was
yeah, I'm looking at Great Power. It may have changed.
Well, if the Great Power version is the one you would rather use, I am cool with that.
Per Great Power, filled with terror, the target either flees or is, if unable to flee, cowers.
Okay, that is fine. if next time you use it, remind me which book we got it out of. But yeah, that's fine then. It makes more sense, truthfully, for the for this style.
In my mind, I always picture Great Power as coming out after. What's the other edition we used?
The Assembled Edition.
Assembled Edition, but it really didn't.
No.
Which is weird for me because Great Power has a better explanation of the various.
He did it before the redo, before the Assembled Edition, but I think he had the Assembled Edition in mind because it was the first one to have that whole layout that they used in Assembled. But yeah, it was just they couldn't fit all the power information in the Assembled book without making it ginormous. But okay. I'm imagining a slight shadow passing over anyway.
Right, yeah,
Just
that
kind of
building shadow will move back and
yeah, you see her eyes go wide with fear. Puppet, your go.
I will, I guess, walk up and attempt to hit the skyscraper one last time.
Okay.
Try to hit him with that sweet affliction damage.
Okay, he got an 11 on his prowess.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That's a max roll for him.
Yeah. I got a 9. It was close.
Yeah, it was. But he yanks his foot back. Dude, you crippled me out.
Take your girl and leave.
Let's see, Mike. Your last action was lost preparing for this one, so now you can go.
That's right. Now I was planning on duplicating the affliction power, much like Puppet just did.
Okay.
Except different format, of course. But so the power itself requires a prowess test to touch the target, and then the affliction test to see the effect. So now, given that I'm trying to transmute air, would you say that I would need to be like right up in his face literally to do this, or is this something where, since my transmutation has a rank of 9, I could just create like a cloud of knockout gas that extends from me to skyscrapers?
I would let you do that. Let you use your coordination instead, basically, and you're like making a string of it up and then enveloping his head.
Okay. Well, they are both equal, but I just wanted to see if I still needed to make the roll and how I should do it. So
yeah.
let's do it
for this particular instance, we'll make it coordination versus coordination for the hit.
Okay. See.
All right. So he got a 10. You got a 9. However, he is big, so if you want to tap him being big, that would give you a +2.
Well, I don't have any more determination spent. I would have to activate that quality some other way if it's a quality that I would need to activate for that.
Well, you could always take a trouble.
Yeah, I was just looking that up right now. Could we say, what if the challenge? What if I did a challenge where, yeah, I could do that, but the cloud would affect like everyone else in the vicinity? Friend and foe. Is that? A challenge would add a new detail of elements of the story that creates a problem for the character.
I've got one if you'd like a suggestion.
Oh, what would you like to suggest?
Since you're creating it around your hands and a stream of it off, you miscalculate slightly and you hit yourself with it as well.
Yeah, that's fair. Sure, I'll take that.
All right. So that gives you a +2, so you hit him.
Okay.
And then is this versus, does he resist it with his strength or his willpower, or how are you doing this one?
Yeah, now you resist against strength. I assume he doesn't have. Does he have regeneration?
He does not have regeneration, no.
He does or does not?
He does not.
Sorry.
His only power is his growth. And he's got a stunt where you do a ground
base word
pound.
Oh, gotcha. So we'll test my transmutation versus his strength.
Okay. Which is a pretty even match because his growth is pretty high.
True.
He got a 10, you got a 12. So you beat him by 2.
Is that marginal or moderate?
2 is a moderate.
Okay. So I inflict the damage as stamina. I inflict my power level as stamina damage, ignoring damage resistance but not affliction resistance.
So that means the
And then it will then.
yeah, because he gets damage resistance as part of his growth, but that does not help him here. So you do 9 points to him.
That's right.
Sweet goodness.
That's right. And there'd be another affliction test next round if he's still up.
So that was a massive hit to him. He's still up for the moment. Now roll your strength versus the roll you made for your power.
Oh, so I'm comparing against the 12?
Right.
Okay. Oh, so close.
All right. So you only missed by 1. So you take the 9.
And I am out.
So y'all see her yank her hands up, and then a cloud envelops her and Skyscraper's head. Both of them cough, and you see her fall down.
But not Skyscraper.
No, but his balance is off. He does not look good. He's turning kind of green around the gills. He is continuing to cough. So it was, it clearly did a number on him. Viltruaquani is going to try to escape again. So, Mike, give me a D6 plus 9 to establish his difficulty to escape. You got 11, you need to beat a 15. Nope. He's probably stuck under that thing for the duration. Helios.
So I am going to pop my aura. So what everyone sees is that suddenly Helios starts glowing bright red, with big black spots moving over the surface of his body.
Kind of like sunspots.
Yeah, basically like sunspots. So he looks like a little miniature star crammed into human shape. And I am going to start wailing on Skyscraper. I forgot his name for a second. I knew it wasn't double Y.
No. He's Skyscraper, she's Gothic. It's this whole architectural sort of thing they got going on.
Yeah.
Well, I think about it, Spear had a really tough time with these two also.
Oh yeah.
They are a rough little duo.
Fight.
He takes damage like nobody's business, and she's hard to hit. Alright, so that's a 9 to hit Skyscraper. His prowess. He got an 11. Because he rolled max. Then we'll go to the top of the order. Normally, this session we'd have flashed back to something, but if it was a comic, we'd flash back to a training montage. But we're already running a little late time-wise, so we'll just carry on.
Chase will chastise. It's like, if you all were real heroes, you would have ended it at the end. You would have beat him at the end of last round, but no.
All right, so
Making
it's
progress though.
Yeah, it's Gothic's turn. She is freaked out. She is effectively out of this fight. Okay, she's right at the edge of the map anyway. So yeah, she runs, off the map, around and down, around the corner. She's screaming. You see the weapons in her hand dissolve. skyscraper between coughs is like, babe? And he looks like really unhappy, like she's not supposed to leave me in a fight. For those of you who don't remember, a skyscraper is quick to leave her behind in a fight.
He's such a piece of shit.
She could do way better.
That's a reoccurring theme.
They always can.
You know, I want to say the first fight they were in, he took off. The prison break, he took off and left her behind. You know, and she'll complain about it in the next fight, but you know.
Right.
Then it is skyscraper's turn, and he stumbles back. And he's trying to get the cloud out of his face.
Oh, I don't roll my effect until my turn. That's right.
But that means he is fighting all of y'all by his lonesome now. And whatever she just did really has put him off. You see him run over here. He kind of crunches this car. Luckily, it was the empty one. And when he gets over to this storm drain, suddenly he just kind of goes zoop.
Oh.
And he becomes teeny tiny and drops through the storm drain.
I didn't realize it could shrink, or at least not the regular human form.
It's something he generally only uses for escape attempts. However, he still has a lung full of that gas.
Right. Passes out in the sewer. That's a grisly fate.
Drowns in the poo waters.
In a Mutants and Masterminds game, I had a buddy whose character got knocked out and they found him floating face down in the poo water.
No.
Luckily, he didn't have to breathe, so it wasn't lethal.
Just gross.
It's one player that every time he plays a speedster or a teleporter, he will run off and get himself knocked out. You know, he'll run off and leave the party behind. I'm going to go scout. Danny, you remember what happened? Around the corner.
Boom.
The rest of the party hears, ah! And then they go find him unconscious. Happened to his original speedster, his teleporting time manipulating guy. It just kept happening. Happened to his sorcerer in D&D a few times too.
So it's not just super.
Hey, I'm a sorcerer. I should really run into hand-to-hand combat. No, Danny, no, you shouldn't.
Play a barbarian if that's what you want to do.
In the right build, a sorcerer is still absolute garbage in melee. So
He wound up taking 3 levels of monk, so he'd have a little defense. And I don't know. We finally talked him into hanging back, which was, of course, the fight that I ambushed him from behind. But I was apologizing to him the entire time. Danny, I'm so sorry about this. Really, this is the strategy you should use. I'm sorry. Anyway, so it's Seth's go. You have run your target off.
Do I need to maintain control, or can I?
If you maintain the emotion, she will stay afraid and keep running.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right.
Just chase her off. Hope you don't wet yourself, girly. No, I did not say that to be misogynistic for the viewers. Seth is just kind of an asshole.
Alright, so then we drop down to Puppet. Puppet, you saw Transmuter hit the ground.
I walk over to Transmuter. Here's 4 HP. Here's 4 healing that I can't use on myself.
Right. Yeah, how's that for irony?
Alright.
Ah.
So, yeah, you walk over, you touch her. Transmuter, you sit up coughing. Cough the last of that out of your lungs.
Where'd he go? Where's Skyscraper?
he scampered off. I think he ran into the sewers. Turns out he can shrink.
Now give me a. Do you have to roll it again, or does he just roll the resistance again?
I think we just do the attack again, so I think we both roll.
All right.
I think. Yeah. So roll for poo water.
All right. Oh, God, this guy's great. And this is versus his strength. But he is not giant size now, so he does not have a strength bonus.
That's true.
So he got an 8.
I rolled a 11.
So that is a moderate. No, that is a major success that you got on affliction. Inflicts affliction levels as stamina. Ignores damage resistance. Oh, that's on a moderate or better. Okay. So yeah, he shrunk down. He gets down there, but shrinking down, the gas had a stronger effect on him. So the press shows up, Spear shows up. When you tell them, oh yeah, he shrank down in the storm drain, they go down there and just almost right under the storm drain, they find him just laid out on the like the little sidewalk, the little walkway area down there, not in the actual water.
Oh, okay.
Because once he passed out, he reverted to normal size. When all is said and done, Gothic got away and Squadron got away. In the mass scramble, some of the press runs up to you. Predominantly, they are talking to Helios and Transmuters. They're the more standard-looking superhero. The darkly cloaked guys aren't usually all that talkative. And they just don't get too close to Puppet. They take a lot of film of Puppet, but... let's see.
They're taking sips from my empty coffee cup.
So yeah, one of the reporters runs up to Helios and Transmuter, asks you who you are. They don't recognize you. Who are you? Is this a new team? Are y'all just random heroes thrown together by fate?
You can call us the Primes. We're here to help.
And as you say that, the wind kicks up. The sedan suddenly comes flying around the corner. It slows down a little bit over you. A beam of light passes over you. And then from the standpoint of the reporters, y'all disappear and it takes off at full speed.
Oh, it has we have transporters. Ooh.
Yeah, they're very short range. It's got to be kind of directly over you, but...
She did not want us to have a press conference.
As y'all are flying around, she's like, yes, that was perfect. You stood there looking heroic, you dropped the name, and then we disappeared mysteriously. Been better if you'd caught all the villains, but I know how that crap kind of happens. Granddad couldn't catch all of them all the time. But you stopped the building,
She's happy.
The building didn't drop. There wasn't much property damage other than, what had already happened when you showed up. Ooh, you should have checked on those. Should have checked on the cops in that car, though.
We should have finished off the villains for Pops.
Now, by finish off, do you mean catch him or...
That was something he never could do.
Yes, because I had the jobs done.
I mean, technically he killed some, but we don't talk about that.
Only when absolutely necessary.
Sometimes you got to put someone on the ground, but it's not SOP.
I can't think of what the word SOP means.
Standard operating procedure.
Thank you.
So yeah, the press goes off about this new team, the Primes. Especially with Transmuter's costume, they quickly make an association with the Primus.
Well, don't we all have a Primus emblem of some kind?
I know that was discussed. I wasn't
on our
sure if y'all had
uniform
decided to.
somewhere?
I mean, it works for me. You know, you could have one on your chest up under the cloak. I know Mike had mentioned Transmuter would have a similar, maybe a slightly different symbol, but kind of a similar something.
I think that Seth, even if the rest of the team doesn't, Seth will at least have some kind of symbol on his chest or on his shoulder, as a way to remind him that it's like when you're wearing this badge, you have to.
We should really kill the villains. He looks at his chest. Okay, maybe not.
Maybe.
Oh, right. Not supposed to do that. And I can see, if Puppet wanted to, I can see Puppet having like a belt buckle or something. Since he wears like the thing shorts, if I remember right. But anyway, so the press goes off. And there's a few people, especially on the internet, you know, wondering if you have the right to tie yourself to the Primus. But the counter argument is.
I mean, no, we never. Well, no one knows about that we're his kids yet, right?
No.
Not yet.
Gotcha.
All they know is you're a team called the Primes. Your costume is clearly based on the
Oh,
Primus.
so we're just like a bunch of nobodies who were
But-
like, it's, okay, I see.
They stopped us before we could reveal that to the press.
Like I said, the internet, there's lots of theories going back and forth. And, the news figures out that Helios had already been superheroing, of course. You know, okay, he had started up in this small town, now he's part of this team. You know, taking down Skyscraper and Gothic is, you know, it's a noteworthy success for a team. They reference the how the unknown, the team that eventually became the official, you know, Spears, the U.S. Became the Spear team, which was the U.S.'s first official team. How their first encounter was with Gothic and Skyscraper. You know, or at least that was the conflict that brought them together. But yeah, you know, Sharon has got some, some pointers, some things to work on. But overall, is very pleased. You know, creative use of your powers. Took down some major villains. She agrees with the deal you cut with Squadron. She thinks that was well thought. Because, while he is a criminal and we should have recaptured him, should recapture him if we get a chance, he's definitely the lesser of evils out of that group. The rest of them are killers. Where he's tried to kill that one guy that did something to him. So we will wrap here with your debut having gone off, maybe not completely without a hitch, but a good first effort.
I think we should have expected a rough start.
Hmm.
Good wait. Sure, look for it at the beginning.
Yeah, that first round. I'll be honest, I was a little worried. I was like, uh-oh. But then everybody got up, dusted themselves off, and it was fine after that. Anyway, I hope y'all had fun with this start session. I had a lot of fun. I like the flashback thing. I don't know. I could have run it. I feel like I could have smoothed it out a little bit, but I think it worked.
I thought it was cool.
I'll play a little bit better in editing. After editing.
Yes, I will. There will be some editing with this one. But anyway, I hope anybody that came by to watch, I forgot to ever even check the chat. Ah, crap. There was somebody in the chat asking if they could ask questions, and I never even saw it. I had like 4 character sheets and Discord. And... So if you're still on here, sorry about that. So we'll be back. We should be back in 2 weeks. Continuing the primes, the third and final segment of our anthology season. Again, I was your GM for the day, Jason, and with me was Zach as Helios.
Thank you for joining us.
Mike as Transmuter.
Good day, everyone.
Curtis as Sethagua. I think I got it.
Laters.
And Taylor as Puppet.
Easy.
And we will see
Don't
y'all
forget
next
to
time.
like and subscribe.
Yes, do all of that. And we'll see you next time.